Hey guys, Paul here from MOW BROS. Today I've got a day in my office, just catching up on some bookwork, sending some emails and just getting onto a few things that have been on my to-do list for a couple of weeks. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to sit down and make another video, and wanted to be a bit more specific about some of the things that have been happening with the business side of things over the last couple of months, and just let you know what's been happening there. We are in a position at the moment where I need to hire another staff member, and I've obviously got Adam and Josh, who you've met previously. Adam is working a couple of days a week and Josh is working effectively full-time with me at the moment as well, and I'm still on tools full-time and occasionally getting a day sort of once a week, maybe every second week, to spend a day back here where I am now. So I just wanted to go through the process, I suppose, of letting you know what I've done with my business as far as hiring people, and the process which I've taken and sort of the reason why I've taken that as well. And it's certainly been an intentional thing from my behalf to do those things. And I realised that I could probably end up breaking this topic or this video into two sections as far as hiring people goes. The area I'd like to talk about this morning would be, I suppose, just on the process or the way of which I've gone from being, single sole operator business and growing that to a place where I've got enough clients to warrant bringing on staff, and actually working out whether or not I wanted to bring on staff as well. You're probably hearing me say the word process a lot, and I suppose I want to emphasise the fact that it's a process in the fact that it's worth thinking about and taking time to consider and to work out your approach in how you want to do it, and if you want to do it at all. So the MOW BROS journey so far has been that I obviously started running the business just by myself, from 0 clients to my first client being the elderly mother of the guy who sold me my first work ute, who I still have to this day. So shout out to Pat, although she'll obviously probably never watch this video. It's gone from one client right through to us today, where we're managing probably about 100 or so regular clients, that being residential, commercial, or a couple of schools that we also look after, and also a whole heap of ad hoc clients on the side of that as well. Obviously I wouldn't have been able to manage that by myself, and we've brought staff in who you've met on the previous video, and that's been a real intentional goal of mine, is to build my business based on bringing employees in and getting them to work alongside me and grow the business from there to make it scalable. Some of you are probably thinking along those lines too, but I also know that there's some guys who are just happy to work for themselves and happy to have a business that suits their lifestyle, doesn't need to involve bringing new staff members on, the potential stress involved with that, and that's totally fine. And I understand that everyone's goals in their businesses are different, and that's great. And obviously the awesome thing about running your own business is that you get to make those decisions and call those shots. From the beginning, I always wanted to build a business. Actually, even before MOW BROS existed, when I was looking at what I wanted to do in starting up a new business, I always wanted to go into a business that would allow me to employ people, but to scale the business to a point that regardless of what I was doing in the business or not doing in the business, meant that I could be making an income from the business pretty much. So whether or not I was on tools, or for MOW BROS that means if I'm on tools, if I'm in the office here, if I've got the guys out working for me and I'm out quoting jobs, I'm still able to make an income from that. If I'm on holidays, still have a regular steady income coming in from the business. And even if I want to go and pursue other projects, I'd love to have MOW BROS at the point where it didn't rely on me being hands and feet on the ground, and had the opportunity to have other people obviously being the hands and feet on the ground when I'm not physically there. So for me, having a business that employed people and scaled up was always a priority of mine. So it probably wasn't until probably 2.5 years into having started MOW BROS, getting to a place where I was ready to hire my first employee. So the first question we need to ask is, do you want to hire a new employee? Now obviously this is different for everyone, and it really just depends on what I mentioned before as far as what your intention with your business is. Do you want to grow the business outside of yourself? If not, that's totally fine. If you are wanting to scale up your business, then obviously that's what you need to do. In a service-based business, you need people on ground, and then you've got to look for staff from there. Also look at why you want to grow your business as well. I've heard plenty of stories where guys have had new employees come on and then realised a couple of years down the track, although they've got lots of work for those guys, that they're not actually running a profitable business. So look to see where you're going to make benefits from that sort of decision. Whether or not that's a financial benefit, scaling your business, making an income on someone else's hourly rate that you charge them out at. Maybe that's a physical benefit. You don't have to be on the tools as much, or you don't have to be at a desk as much and working on your business. It gives you obviously more flexibility. You don't need to be everywhere at once. And they're certainly some pretty important things to think about. Again, I've heard of guys who've run businesses with multiple employees, have had lots of work on, and then at the end of the day they realise that they're not actually even making a profit. Like, it's not actually worth them having these extra guys on, and the added sort of responsibility that comes with that, and have just stripped back to it just being themselves, no staff, a better work-life balance, and enjoying a profitable business just run with themselves in it, and that's it. Okay, the next most important thing is obviously to look at when to hire new staff. Now, this is obviously different for every business, and obviously there's a lot of different situations involved. There's a couple of approaches that I suppose I've seen previously. One of which is the proactive approach to hiring new staff. Now, you might think automatically that, okay, well, this is obviously the best way to go. For some people, yes, it is. For others, it's not. Again, it just depends on, I suppose, how well your business has been travelling. If you're proactive about hiring new staff, then it means that you're putting someone on with the assumption that the business is going to grow. So in the lawn and garden maintenance business, for example, you have yourself and you might have another employee, and you know that spring is coming in a couple of months, and you're going to need to put new people on to help cover the workload that's going to increase in the next couple of months once spring hits and people start looking for new gardeners, and the workload increases and your existing clients have got more work for you to do. You see that there's going to be growth within your business and the hours that are going to need to be done, and you get an employee on then and there so that you've got time to train them up and have all the ball rolling as soon as spring hits. This obviously gives you the safety of knowing that you won't be overcommitted to work come springtime, and that if you do have a big influx of new clients or work coming in, that you've got enough time set out for that. The risk involved to a certain extent with that is that, if growth doesn't happen, if for whatever reason your phone isn't ringing off the hook, or you have a relatively dry spring and there's not a lot of growth around, both in the gardens but also in your business, then you might have put someone on and you might actually start losing money on them not being able to get them out and make money off those employees. The other approach is the reactive approach, the other kind of end of the spectrum. And that's to wait until you are absolutely slammed with work, until you actually decide to put an employee on. The issue with that is that people don't really find a balance. So you'll be struggling to keep up with your existing clients, you're trying to get along to them, the phone's ringing off the hook, you're wanting to take on new work, so you're quoting new jobs and you see your business growing, but it's not until you are fully slammed and like tired doing huge hours that you realise, all right, now I need to get an employee. And sometimes that can be too late. You know, you've either run yourself ragged and you've found it really hard to keep up with all your existing clients, or you start losing clients because you're not getting to the property as regularly as what you said you were going to, or the quality of your work is not great because you're trying to push more clients into a day and rush between them. And it's all a big balancing act between being proactive and being reactive. So for me, and for our business MOW BROS, I've sort of tried to meld those two approaches together, and I've tried to be what I like to call proactively reactive. My personal workload fluctuates. I'll either be working, say, 4 days a week on tools and 1 day a week ideally back in the office, or I might be like 6 days a week on tools if things are really busy. And what I've tried to do is build my client base up to a point where we're getting all our existing clients done, but we're still quoting new work and bringing new clients in. And I'll probably get to the stage where I'm working 6 days a week and the other boys are just doing their normal days. Adam's doing his 2 days and Josh is doing his 4 or 5 days. Now, that isn't what my end goal is. There's no way I want to be working 6 days a week, and so I have to think about what that's going to look like. If I'm working 4 days a week at the moment and I know that coming into spring I'm going to be up to 6 days a week, that's fine, and I'll do 6 days a week, but I don't want that to be the case. You know, I don't want that to be locked in. I'm only doing 6 days a week, and this is a really good mindset to have, is to only do that 6 days a week knowing what the result of that is going to be. The result of that for me is that I'm pushing as much work into our schedule as possible without overcommitting ourselves, and I'll get up to 6 days a week worth of work, and then we'll bring someone on in the business, and then my 6 days a week will then go back to 3 days a week, and my workload will be obviously shared between me and that new member of staff, or those hours that would have been done by me on clients' properties will then be split between the new employee and the other guys who are already working for me. Ultimately, with anything in life, there's pros and cons to the decisions that you make. So with the proactively reactive approach that I've used in hiring employees and growing my business, it's been challenging. There are times where you need to be working 110% or 120% in your business. So although, like I said, my ideal is not working 6 days a week, I know that for a specific period of time, I need to do that so that I can push my business to that next step of employing a new person to come and take on some responsibility or to take over some of my workload. So I'm willing to go to 6 days worth of work per week, but knowing that that is all about then being able to bring back my workload to 3 or 4 days a week once a new employee comes on. Getting your business to a place where you can employ someone or employ an additional person will always be challenging, but it should just be a stretch. It shouldn't be a stress. So when it does come to working 6 days a week, you've really got to put boundaries in place so that you know, all right, within a month, within 2 months, within 3 months of having worked 6 days a week to cope with your workload, you're doing that for a particular purpose. That for me, that purpose is going back to 3 or 4 days a week once that new employee is on. So building up the business to have enough workload to bring on a new employee and then drop my workload back. And that's what's worked well for my business. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks heaps for watching. The next video I'll go more into the process of actually employing someone once you've gotten to a place where you know that's what you want to do. So we'll look at writing up a position description, the process of obviously posting that job out so that people can see that you're hiring, the interview process and the screening process as well, and what that involves. And also hopefully by then we may have employed our next employee as well, so there'll be some fresh examples or maybe a bit of insight that I haven't already thought about that I'd love to plug into that video. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to post them below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm really appreciative of the small group of guys who've already subscribed. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Sorry guys, I forgot to mention that we do have a special guest on today's show. You won't have met her before, but here she comes now. Hey Sandy! Sandy! Come here! I think she's just waking up. Sandy! Come here. This is Sandy, my Labrador. Beautiful pup. She's good fun. And although she vomited on the carpet last night and occasionally makes a mess, she's a beautiful dog. So occasionally she comes out to work with me, so no doubt you'll see her on a few more videos. Say goodbye, pup.